There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. I'm so tired of living in the UK. Please, somebody get me back to America. I am here with this incredible set of slippers and the incredible Nikki Hale from Heritage Auctions. I can't believe I'm actually holding these. I have this thing about props where if it's something that I covet that I know I'm never going to own, I kind of don't even want to be with it because it's like, pish posh. What's the point? What's the point of going to the open house of the house that you can't afford? But with this, I'm so contented in the fact that I will never own these that it's so exciting to be in the presence. I mean, how many people have actually even handled a set of ruby slippers like in the flesh that are still alive, that are still with us?
I think very few. I mean, these ladies have, we've been very generous in letting people look at them and not so much touch them. I'm very fussy, and so is Joe.
Very good.
And,
yes, very good.
I'm very protective of them. I have to be. So you're very lucky, Ryan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, we're going to set these down now because I'm feeling the insurance company getting very sweaty. But these are absolutely incredible. It's one of the 4 surviving hero sets that at least we know about.
Correct.
In theory, something
In theory, that's the thing with props. That sometimes they just emerge, right?
They come out of the woodwork. Certainly, a large sale does
Yes.
help at times.
Yes.
And the story with these is that these are actually real rubies, right?
These are just glass gems, very common for 1939 to not use real rubies, and very common now because they are a costume, they are a prop. Very rarely will we find, 3 to 5 carat rubies and attach them to a pair of shoes.
But the reason these got stolen
Yes.
back in 2005 from the Judy Garland Museum is because 2 knuckleheads thought that these actually were real rubies.
Yes, Terry and Jerry, the criminal masterminds as I call them, they broke in, stole the slippers, 1 sequin left behind apparently, which has been matched when these were recovered. Yes, 2005. They remained unknown to where they were until 2018. The FBI acted on a sting and recovered them. Initially, we didn't have very many details about how they were recovered or what was the condition of what they were in, but recently more news has come out, and apparently buried in Tupperware in Terry's backyard, which terrifying, one,
Yeah.
but also a lucky break in some ways. They weren't sitting on a mantle with harsh lighting. They were underground in a preserved area, so they still retain their really dark ruby color, which is fantastic in my opinion. Yeah.
So they are real rubies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And these are one of the original sets that actually Kent Warner, famous Kent Warner, who, those of you who don't know, there's a fantastic book called The Ruby Slippers of Oz. It's written by Rhys Thomas. You can find it on Amazon, very easy to find. Just click and send to your home. It's great. It reads it's a history of prop collecting. It reads like a thriller at points. But Kent Warner is actually the original prop collector who
Correct.
went into all of the costume archives in the 60s and I will use the term gently, liberated things, his term.
Rescued,
yes.
Liberated.
From basically from obscurity. And in this particular case, he'd been collecting things because he was a costumer, he was able to get access to these old costume archives. And of course, he was working on modern films, but he loved all of this stuff from the timeless kind of classic era, the Wizard of Oz era, the
Correct.
40s. He found Humphrey Bogart's trench coat from Casablanca in his searches. So he would just go into these places, basically find them. He knew what they were.
Yes.
He knew by the labeling and
Yes.
could figure it out and would just take them and sometimes throw them out the window into a dumpster and then go collect in the dumpster. Very enterprising fellow. But when the MGM auction came around in 1970, the instruction was given to him to basically go into the MGM archives and find the
Right.
ruby slippers,
Right.
thinking there was only one set.
Yes.
So he went digging around up in the rafters and found 4 sets apparently, at least.
At least.
But only presented one to the auctioneer
Mm-hmm.
because at the time everybody thought, well, of course there's only one set of ruby red slippers from the Wizard of Oz.
It makes them more special. It makes them rare.
Yes,
It's,
and then cleverly distributed the others to himself and his friends.
very clever.
He kept the best set.
Mm-hmm.
This was not his set, but this was the set that he gave to his friend Michael Shaw.
That's
Yeah.
correct. But Michael Shaw received these in 1970 from Kent, and then really spent the next 30 years kind of showcasing them. He had a tour that he would take them to malls, he would take them to children's hospitals, so these were out in the world. So initially these were called the traveling pair, and then when they were stolen, they turned into the stolen pair, and now I just call them the fussy ladies, but they are a fabulous example and very, very ruby in a sense.
Yeah.
But yes, Kent found them. Mr. Shaw's had them. They were stolen. Back to Mr. Shaw, and now with us.
And now with us,
Yes.
and then on to a new collector or a museum.
Yes.
We don't really know,
Never know.
but it's all very exciting. And the most exciting thing is, of course, the fact that these are covered in real rubies.
What's really cool about them is there's such little details that make
Yeah.
each one very particular, right? Like you have Judy's name written, kind of different wear and tear. As you know, these are the mismatched Smithsonian pair.
Yeah.
So different sizes, different heels, different
And what
little
is
tidbits.
what is the reason for that? Why the different sizes?
Okay.
What's the thinking? Because it's not that it wasn't Judy, right?
Sure, it was Judy. What I have read is that throughout the day, her feet would kind of swell. She's 14 years old. She's dancing all day.
Yeah.
Her feet get sweaty.
Yeah.
So her feet would kind of swell. So to consider the pinching and things like that, she would change sizes. So this one is a 5C, while this one is a 5B, and you can see that narrowness and a little bit more width. So that was the theory that I have read and what I have been telling the world, because I think it's probably very accurate.
Yeah. Okay. That does make a lot of sense. And then these details. So her name. You actually see Judy Garland written in there,
Yeah, so you
which is
see
lovely
it?
and fantastic. Can
You
you
can kind of, here I'll even turn it so it's right side up.
look at the stitching?
Obviously, I've been around these for many months now, so I feel very comfortable holding them. So don't be scared. But yes, Judy's name.
And should we look at the bottom too?
Yeah, the bottom's fabulous.
And this is original dancing felt, yes,
Correct.
For the studio floors.
Yes, multi-part, kind of for sound. It dampens as she was skipping. And then also the Yellow Brick Road was actually plywood painted, so it saved some of that paint.
Scuffing, yeah.
Something else about the bottom that I like to talk about is these are the original red bottoms. Louboutin didn't start creating that until 1993.
There you go.
So
Ladies.
these are it, ladies. If you want the real red bottoms, these are them.
Yeah. And almost as expensive as a pair of real Louboutins.
Yep.
So the last pair that sold at public auction was also sold by Joe.
By Joe.
Yes. His former incarnation of Profiles in History.
Correct.
And that is actually the only surviving matching pair, right, where the shoes are together. Or that's one of the two matching pairs.
Two matching
Yes,
pairs. So
okay.
there's a privately owned pair that is matching.
Yeah.
And then the Academy pair, as we call them now,
Okay.
sold in 2002 by Joe via Profiles in History. So those are matching. And then these are the crisscross sisters to the Smithsonian pair.
Yeah. Okay. So there's the pair in the Smithsonian. If you took left and right and swapped them, you would
Switch
have one pair, which is why these are different sizes. And this particular pair also screen matches, or each shoe screen matches
Yes.
to different scenes.
Yes.
So, but can you talk a bit about that and
Sure.
what scenes we think these are from?
Yeah, it can be a little complicated, so follow along, teachers, students. This is considered number 6, and this is considered number 1, right? So 1 is the primary shoe worn throughout the movie. You're going to see that when she arrives in Munchkinland at the end. You're going to see that when she's skipping down the circular yellow brick road. You're going to see as she enters the Emerald City, she's going to be wearing this pair. Through the poppy fields, this pair. Also when she meets the lion and the Tin Man. And
Wow.
then climactically, she is wearing the number 1 pair when she clicks her heels to go home.
Fantastic.
So fantastic. See, 6 is used a little bit less throughout the movie. You see that particularly in the poppy fields and then through the trees as she's dancing. So 6 is just as great, but number 1 is probably the shining star. But putting them together, makes them all really special.
That's glorious. Now remind me, which one of these individual shoes has the real rubies on them?
Neither, as I've reminded you multiple times.
So these are coming up live for auction this very weekend at Heritage in Dallas, December 7th. Register, get ready to bid. Throw in a sport bid if you want. The bidding currently sits at 1.115, I think. Yes?
1.150.
1.150. $1,150,000. It will not end there, so you're safe. I think these.
Just go ahead and throw one in.
There's no guarantee. We have no lawyers. We have no legal backing. No insurance. Please don't come after us. But throw in a bid. It's safe. I'm excited. I'm not bidding on these, but I'm so excited to actually watch this go down. I think this is going to be a fascinating. I think this is going to be like an art auction, when like a Da Vinci comes up and you just have 6 guys on the phone and paddles on the floor. I really think it's going to be like that. I'm curious. I mean, I think I'll let you stake your number first.
No!
I have a number in my head that I shot out on the podcast. I was living in the kind of 3 to 5 million area, and I thought that was the same. Everybody was asking me where are they going to go. I said 3 to 5. I think is going to sit in there. But the interest in this has been crazy. I got a call from you guys on Friday saying, how long do you need them in the back room? Because we got a situation out here. The crowds outside are crazy. People are coming in looking at them. I've upped my estimate. But where are you, Nikki?
I initially 3 to 5, right? I think that is a comfortable number that we like to say. I'm going to go at 7. I think if I beat 6.7, it'll be the most expensive item at auction in an entertainment memorabilia.
Yeah, okay, that's great.
So
and
that's
the
the goal.
most expensive being the Marilyn Monroe dress.
Yes, the Subway Fabulous dress.
Yeah.
So that's my goal, and also 7 is a great number.
7 is a great number.
Yeah.
I quoted this number on the podcast last night. I said 7-2 because I think somebody gets really nervous once you cross those big Rubicons. I mean, at that point, who cares? Really. But I think there's always like the person that's nervous to cross the Rubicon, and then the guy that comes in one after it, or gal.
Yeah.
But I said 7.2 final hammer. Adam, cameraman, give us your number.
I'm going 8. We're going big.
Oh, big numbers. There you go. So they're coming up live under the hammer this weekend, December 7th. HeritageHA.com. Get on the phone bidding sheet. Get on the internet bidding. It's going to be wild. Just go on and watch. It's going to be great fun. And we'll see you there.